fitness. I know I can't really talk much about fitness, but keep yourself
You're a
fit.
fit lad, bro.
Keep yourself fit.
Oh, you got both of us.
Got both of us.
That was smooth, bro. Yes, guys, what you say, my people? This is the After 5 Club. Hope you're having an amazing day wherever you're tuning in from. I'm your boy Ansar, and today I'm joined with Saqib and Hobbs. This is our brand new podcast where if you're looking for an escape from your busy 9-to-5 routine and if you want to hear us have some outrageous conversations, then you come through to the right place. First of all, let me just take a minute by thanking all of you guys for joining us today. You could be doing anything you want right now, but you're here listening to us, so a massive, massive shout out to all of you guys. And with that being said, boys and girls, let's get this party started.
That's right.
Let's do this.
Fellas, how are we feeling? How are we feeling?
Feeling tired from work today.
Yeah? After 5?
It's definitely after 5.
It's definitely after 5. I mean, it's quite late to be honest.
It is.
Quite late.
Because we were too busy having our pre-after 5.
Well, it's not gonna lie though, that intro was alright, innit? It was decent. Not too bad, innit?
This has been take 25 to be honest, but
We're here now. We're here now.
Yeah.
Alright, go on. Saqib, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so everyone, my name is Saqib. As Ansar mentioned, also one of the 3 main people within the After 5 Club. So, as Ansar's mentioned, we're all over here together on a journey to bring enjoyment, entertainment, a lot of interesting topics, a lot of possibly debates. This all comes from our full background where we have spent quite a lot of time with each other. We've had interesting conversations and, you know, we've had a lot of interest. We've had a lot of people come and speak to us and said to us, you know what, bring it out. You know, I think it's time you do a podcast. And finally we're here.
Great, yep. So my name is Hobbs, and again, just to introduce myself and both of you guys, we started off as work colleagues, and it just grew. Our relationship grew. We bonded a lot better, and now I would say we're good friends, more than good friends, isn't it? And let's start on to where did the 5 o'clock club start from? So it originally started. We were working, and we would go down for a little break. It would be a 10-minute break, and we would have a conversation. Then next thing we know is 1 hour's gone by, and it's been crazy.
I think the interesting thing is, Hobbs, you know, most places where you work, you have somewhat like a reserved conversation. It was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time where we became quite frank with each other. You know, we started to have very open-hearted conversations. We were there supporting each other. We were also sharing thoughts, ideas, you know, sharing our own personal experiences and, you know, just trying to help others as well. So I think...
you know what? I'll be so real with you. The conversations I have with you boys, I swear to God, yeah, it's more deep and meaningful than my actual boys.
100%.
Like, I see you guys, we used to work together.
What are you trying to say, bro? We're not your actual boys.
No, I'm saying you are my boys, bro. You get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
innit? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
But no, we used to see each other every day pretty
Yeah.
much, innit?
Yeah.
So, like, you are my actual boys now.
No,
You get what I'm saying?
I heard that, bro. I heard that.
This what happens all the time. Someone doesn't get spun, someone gets aired, and it's always me that gets aired, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I mean, we built something so good, so long may it continue. Saqib, what can the people expect from the After 5 Club?
I think, well, in my personal opinion, it's about building a community. You know, in the past as well, we have built a massive community where we were working. It literally just started off with just a couple of us, and within no time, there was a whole crowd following. There was a whole load of people interested in our conversations, who also learnt from our conversations, who had input in our conversations. So, you know, we want to bring it out towards to the public. We want to share our thoughts, ideas, and also take feedback from yourselves. If you have any questions or any sort of interesting suggestions about relevant topics we may be talking about, it will be good to be able to engage with yourselves. We want to be as engaging as possible with yourselves.
And I think that's where the light bulb moment happened. I think when we were having these deep conversations, we finish at 5. We're having deep conversations. We're going from conversation to conversation. Now we see it's 10 p.m. and we're like, wow, it just felt like an hour, but we've been here for 4 or 5 hours. And I think that's when we had the light bulb moment and we decided, do you know what? What if there was another angle or another person or another point of view that could add to this? And I think that's where we decided a podcast would be amazing for us because we can get people's feedback and we can carry on the conversation. We can have their input inside as well. And that just excites me. And I think we're on an exciting journey. It is our first one. We will be making some mistakes, but again, we're on a journey and we're on this journey with you guys together.
Very well put, Hobbs. Very well put.
Take one.
Answer, can I, I'm just going to ask you, do you want to enlighten everyone about how we came up with the name?
Okay, that's a very important question. So, we all used to work together a couple years ago. We don't work together now, but we used to work together. Throughout the day, we'd get our work done, and after 5, we would stay back, us 3. Sometimes it'd be more than just us 3. It'll be other people as well. And then we kind of started growing a bit of a crowd now, yeah. And then a lot of people started noticing us because we used to leave after like 5, 6, sometimes even 7, and a lot of people started labeling us, and they called us the After 5 Club. So we took the idea, we ran with it. It was like a light bulb moment, and we just ran with it. So that's where we got our name from.
And I personally think it is an amazing name.
It's amazing. It fits to his narrative so much.
Perfectly.
Yeah. And especially the sort of conversations we have, sort of discussions we have, it's a typical sort of, this is our personal space. We're in our zones. We're switched off from work. We talk about all the sort of everyday problems that regular brand people may come across. Not only brand people, but also like financial discussions, career goals. They could be like progressive targets, all sorts.
And I think for us is what makes us different to other podcasts is we are just regular people. We've got our 9-to-5 jobs. Thank God we're in a position where we're able to do this and we can give advice as well. We've realized through our hard work what is the way or how we can, improve our lifestyle. So for us, we're not here for a get rich quick scheme or things like that. We are genuine people. We just want to build a community, have discussions. We're all in the same place and help build everyone.
Keeping it real and relatable.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Answer. Without further ado, let's crack on.
All right, number 1.
So the title of this episode is... The title of the episode is actually called Breaking the Mold. Right? Breaking the mold. So
I'm so sorry. I just have to say this. By the way, guys, I have no idea what Answer's got on the agenda for us today.
Me too. It's for decoration.
Literally.
It's turned off, by the way, guys. It's just decoration.
We're just trying to be professional.
Right. Okay.
So it's called Breaking the Mold. Now, what I mean by breaking the mold is breaking out your usual norm. Yeah. So we're here to do things differently. We're unique. Yeah, you see people online, they're doing their own podcast, but they have a certain way. We have our own certain way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the topic of the day I want to talk about is how your upbringing and your past shapes your thinking of how you treat others.
I'm so sorry, mate. This sounds a bit like an interview question.
Do you want me to make in simple words for you? Basically, it means how you treat others is affected by how you're brought up. Okay. And the reason I'm asking this question is because a couple of years ago when we were having these conversations after work, I'm not sure if you remember, Hobbs, we had this conversation. I don't think you were there, Sakib, but we were having a it was quite a large crowd.
How can you guys have a conversation without me?
Sicky, innit?
One of those ones. Okay, fair enough.
So we were having this conversation, and now the point was that depending on where you grow up, and depending on who you surround yourself with when you grow up, it affects how you treat others. Now, for example, right, Hobbs, you come from Tower Hamlets.
Yes, big up Tower Hamlets. I think there's good and bad in every borough. But
So
there's more
Tower Hamlets are predominantly Bengalis. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. And now, correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of the schools there are Bengalis, as in like a lot of people going there also quite.
100%. For me, during my time, it was about 80-90% that was Bengali, and the rest were other races. But
yeah. So the point is, yeah. So depending on how you grew up in school, through college or uni, whatever, it sort of affects how you treat people in terms of work in the workplace, in terms of out on the streets, stuff like that. You know, I was quite lucky to grow up in Wolverhampton Forest, where there's a mix of a lot of people. There's you got black people, white people, Asians, you got Somalis, Turks, all of that. So the reason why I asked this is because, for example, if you grew up in a Bengali community and in your workplace, as someone that's not in your community comes in, do you treat that person differently?
That's a very good question. And for me, there's a saying that one of my old, I remember when I was in sixth form, and the person 1 year above, he gave me this advice, and he said, you're living in Tower Hamlets, just know that you're living in a bubble. You're in a bubble. And that stuck with me. It's like there's more to this world than Tower Hamlets. Because when you are raised in a predominantly Bengali or Asian community, that's all you know. You haven't seen that. We're still at a young age, so you haven't seen the scope of the world and what there is. So that stuck with me, and that's when I first progressed on to my first job and meeting different people. So you're stuck in this bubble, and that stuck with me. And for me, then ever since then, I've been told about that. I always treat people differently because I've realized that everyone is different and everyone has a different upbringing. So my upbringing is completely different to yours, Saqib, yours, Ansar. And that's why I just treat people at face value, how I want to be treated.
No, I totally agree, Hobbs. I personally grew up in, we all are from East London. I spent most of my time in Newham. And by the time I reached, I'd say about 16 or 17, I'd say, I spent quite a lot of time in Newham. Like it was mainly just in Newham. At most, with my friends, probably just travel up to maybe somewhere like Ilford, sometimes Tower Hamlets, sometimes ice skating in Waltham Forest. Right.
So it's okay. What was your demographic like in Newham? If you don't mind me asking.
At that time?
I would say when I was growing up, when I was little, there was a lot of Pakistanis there, a lot of Gujaratis as well, right? However, as time went on, I would probably say quite a lot of South Indians started to come there.
So apart from the Asian community, was there any more? Like, was there any black people, white people?
No, it was a good mix.
Yeah.
I would say it was a good mix. Yeah. There was probably just slightly under the amount of Asian people as there were black people. Yeah. So I'd probably say it was a fair distribution. Probably less white people than anything else. But yeah, no. So in terms of population, that's what it was. But I just remember the first time when I was 17 years old and I finally got a job in South Kensington. Complete change from spending most of my time in Newham, going to South Kensington. It was amazing. Like, as in, I felt like...
Was it a good change?
It was a good change.
Yeah.
It was a good change. I felt very, very out of place, though. I felt so out of place because the sort of language I spoke, the sort of...
So I've been more of a coconut, innit?
yeah. Like, well, the thing is, obviously, being in Newham, and most viewers over here, who, if you are from Newham, then or anywhere in East London, you would know the sort of vocabulary we have, the sort of words we use, the slang, road language we use. It's very particular, and then going into South Kensington, which is extremely posh, you definitely feel out of place. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say regarding that, I think for me, you kind of have to, that's when your eyes open. When you go into an environment like that, you realize you kind of have to be two-faced. Like, for example, my slang and everything, how I speak to my friends is still there, but there's a time and place for that.
100%.
And that's when I've realized, okay, as sad as it sounds being two-faced, that is what actually can help you build yourself. And, you know, for example, you can't speak slang when you're dealing with clients, when you're managing your staff.
100%.
So for us, you know, being in management, we have to realize you have to be two-faced, and there's a time and place for everything. It's not just, oh, I need to be professional 24/7, and my friendship group, I'm not going to be friends with them because they're a different way to how I am at work. You can have both.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it opens your eyes. And
But I think coming back to the original question, right, whether upbringing shapes how you treat others, I would say it does. I would say it has a huge impact. How you treat someone else. If you've been treated, you know, relatively not. If, for example, you've not had such a good experience with certain type of people, then you know you naturally start treating them, that kind of group of people, in a particular way, and you know, that does come from a very young age, I would say.
Because I'm reflecting back on how it was in our workplace now. Now, there used to be a lot of bubbles, like you mentioned. Yeah, there used to be a lot of grouping. So, for example, the Bengalis would stick with each other. I'm looking at you, Hobbs.
as always, we've got to help each other.
I have to say, Bengalis are very, very united.
They're very tight-knit.
100%.
They're very tight-knit.
Do you know why?
I actually rate that. I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie. I rate that.
It's changing a lot now, but the truth is because we've come, our parents, our previous generations, we've come into this country quite late. So for us, we realize the value of helping each other to build, and I think that's very important because I'll be honest, you won't be successful without the help of other people.
Yeah,
I think not so much this generation, but I think your
Previous
parents'
generation,
generations. I think they were a bit more closed off and to themselves. And whatnot. I think this generation is a bit more open.
yeah.
I mean, you have to be now, innit?
I
Yeah.
think it's the
You have no
opposite, to be
choice.
honest.
Is it?
I'll be completely honest. Like, for example, I'm from Tower Hamlets, so I was raised up in a community. We all got along with our neighbors. The neighbors used to come to our house. We used to go to the neighbor's house, and our parents used to make samosas together with the neighbors. So that's all gone now. I feel like with social media, with technology, our generation, people are just on their phones. The community spirit is lost. There is none. And that's why people are a lot more selfish. People just want to do things themselves and keep to themselves. I don't agree with you said this generation is much more, you know, working together and stuff.
Yeah, but you can argue with social media and with the internet and stuff. You're more aware of other cultures and stuff now.
Yes, you're right. You're more aware of other cultures, but it's more like you're competing against one another. And that's not how it was in our parents' age. In our parents' time, it was everyone's building, everyone's working together. How can we help everyone level up? Now it's more like, oh, I'm seeing this on social media. How can I not level up? It's how can I be better than them? And it's just competition, and that's where mental health comes in. And I think we'll talk about that in a different podcast or whenever. But yeah, I feel like right now in this day and age, the community spirit is getting lost, and as tech and social media is, you know, prevailing and getting more and more into our lives, it's just getting worse.
All right, cool. Let me take it back now. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Sakib, how was life like growing up as a child?
If you can remember, it's been a while.
It's been a minute, innit? It's been a hot minute.
Life growing up. I'd say it was tough. I'd say it was tough in the sense where when you're in school, okay, education-wise, for example, in Newham, I'd say it was homework time. You'd come back after the weekend. Teacher would say, "Can everyone bring out their homeworks?" It's probably only going to be 3 students in the class who are actually going to do it. The rest would not do it. The whole point of me saying this is that majority of people, when I was growing up in Newham, I know times have changed now. A lot of children at the time, it was all about building a gang. It was more about being rude boys. It wasn't about being smart. It was about picking up a cigarette. It was about bunking school. It was more about, you know, trying to show you're tough rather than anything else. Either you will be a bully or either you'd get bullied.
That was a school culture, though, wasn't it?
That
That's
was
across the board.
No, but the thing is, what I found is that the newer generation is nowhere near like that.
Do you think so?
I would say so. I would say a lot of the newer generation, they're not focused on that. They actually focus on the teachings. Academically, they're a lot more proper. I would say.
I agree to a certain extent, because I feel like now in our generation and the people that are currently studying in school, secondary school, they get influenced too quickly. Again, just going on non-stop about social media and stuff.
We got a whole episode about that, Hope. So
I would say, in all honesty, okay, I'm gonna give my own example, right? I went to I went to more, right? But I went to a few different colleges, right? I started off in Newham, and when I was in Newham, I would say I was too busy not focusing. Why? Because of the surrounding, because of everyone else who was around me. I was far too distracted. I was just not taking life seriously. However, I went to another borough, right? For example, and it's just a neighbouring borough. So Redbridge, for example. I went to an average college there, and I just remember in my first couple of weeks, given a little bit of homework, came back and I didn't do it. Teacher said, "Can everyone bring out their homework?" And I was like, no one's gonna do it. All of a sudden, next thing you know,
everyone's flipping.
It was the complete opposite. It was like literally, it was like me and maybe one or two other people who hadn't done it, and I was like, wow. So I would say the surrounding does make a difference as well. But then, for example, I've still got loads and loads of friends. Most of my friends are still in Newham, or have like for example, their families, their younger siblings, and their children. For example, some of their children, they've just got complete different, ambitions. They're a lot more focused. They're a lot more driven. I think I would say it also comes down to parenting as well. Parents, they're a little bit more involved in their children's development, their education. They spend a little bit more time. I'm not trying to say our parents didn't. However, there was certain barriers, with that generation. So yeah.
Hobbs, I was going to ask you. Did you spend much time outside, or were you at home most of the time when you were younger?
For me, my childhood was beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't complain. I feel like, yes, everyone has struggles. I had struggles. Yes, my parents didn't have a lot of money, but we had a roof over our head. We had food on the table. But the childhood was amazing because we had that community. I remember coming back from school, and before we would go into our house, me and my neighbors, we used to go to school together. We'd be like, okay, you're going to knock on my house and you're going to ask my mum, are we allowed to go and play out? We planned this before. Obviously, we didn't have phones, nothing. So we were looking at the time and we were waiting now. Once it's 5:30, you hear a knock. I'm there upstairs in my room and I know that they're there, my neighbors, asking my mum, and I'm just there quiet. And then they knock on the door, my mum opens, then they ask politely, oh yeah, can Hobbs come out to play? My mum's got no choice but to say yes. And that's what we would do, and we would just do a rotation. So we would go to
I
our
remember
neighbor's
knocking on my friends' doors as well, man. But there's one time I was knocking for my mate's door, and his mum answered the door, innit? And she's like, oh yeah, he's not home. And I can see him through the window, yeah.
Same thing happened to me, bro.
The auntie, I can see him.
I think you're one of those ones, innit? You're one of those ones that everyone was just avoiding. It's like, oh man, he's back again. Mom, please don't. That is deep, man.
Oh, man.
Were you begging friends?
I had to sometimes, innit? Well, you had to get your rep up, innit? Come on, bro.
It's true.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, childhood was amazing, man. Do you remember playing ball games and stuff, jumping out?
That's the thing, 100%. There's definite pros and cons. So obviously, where I've mentioned certain cons, I would also say there were a lot of pros. So I just remember being 6, 7, probably not 6 so much, probably about 7, 8. But I just remember our parents allowing us to go out, cycle on the road, play with the other neighbor kids.
Can't do that now, innit?
It's impossible.
Just don't do
Can't do
that.
that
You
now.
literally can't do that. I mean, maybe it is awareness. Maybe it's media as well and whatnot. You hear so many news, and I just don't think parents feel comfortable letting their children out. You know, it's a level of confidence, and I think these things will have huge impacts on children's confidence.
Do you know what
in
it is?
future.
It's a sense of community as well. Back in the day, you could easily let your kids out and let them play outside, go on bike rides, play ball games, whatever, and you know that the community will keep them safe.
100%.
Now there's no sense of community at all, so you just don't know whether your kids are
Yeah.
going to be safe or not.
My dad used to go to the local mosque. It was probably about 5 blocks away, but pretty much every other man with a beard, he'd recognize me, say "Assalamu alaikum," whatnot. So like literally, like everywhere we were known. Everyone
knew each
knew that.
other.
Oh yeah, that's Fingy's son. That's Fingy's son. Whatnot. So yeah, but times have changed now. You know, people who live on the same road, you might see them all the time, but you don't even say hello to them. Things are just not, you know, nowadays there is no community. That's it's a very sad
very sad.
experience. I call it, I would probably refer to it quite miserable. Whereas I have actually realised I've recently gone up to Midlands, Nottingham, for example, and around there, people are so much more friendlier. Like, as in, literally, a little bit too friendly. But from like, as in, do you know what I mean? Like, as in, people, all the neighbours would know each other. Everyone would say hi to each other. I think recently I also went to Bradford, and in Bradford. By the way, I don't have any relatives in Bradford, so I should just mention that.
Brad is starting.
No, no, brother. Right, but yeah, basically, I went to around Bradford, and even down there, like pretty much everyone knows each other. There's a strong community. There is a real strong community.
Because I second that, because I spent a lot of my childhood in Bolton.
Right.
So a lot of the times, a lot of summers, I used to go up there, and because I had relatives there, and like you said, but the community there was amazing, man. It's so tight knit. It's like you go out anytime, you come home late, but all the kids knew each other. You just go play football. You know, play a bit of cricket, whatever it is that you're playing. It's the community was just so tight knit, and it takes you back to how it was back in the day.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So it was good. But do you remember any games you used to play? Remember Knockdown Ginger?
Knockdown Ginger.
Oh.
There's another
Mate.
one, Cops and Robbers.
Cops and Robbers, yeah.
For us, we used to have fun. Just a little ball in a car park, and we could be there for hours. And it's like, you know,
It's true. I remember even having fun with slapball.
I have no idea what that is.
Are you guys serious?
I know what's slapball.
It shows the
You
age
know what
difference.
slapball is,
I know
right?
slapball is.
He's in between us. That's
I
right.
don't know what slap ball is.
It's against the wall, innit?
Yeah.
Wait, slap a ball.
You slap a ball against
One
the wall.
bounce. One bounce, two bounce.
Something like that. I can't
One bounce.
remember.
So one touch.
It's a bit like squash.
Basically, yeah.
It's a bit like playing squash with your hands.
Do you remember Penny Up?
Oh,
Penny Up.
against the wall.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember that. I
I
remember
used to
that.
make so much money, Penny Up.
Are
Man.
you serious?
Yeah, man.
Just pennies though, innit?
50p's, bruv. Come on.
Back in Tower Hamlets, we were broke, so it was imaginary.
It's true. That's true.
Good on Hobbs.
That was so dead. But listen, honestly, guys, you know the conversation, bringing it back in. For us, again, it's new to us, this podcast. We're excited. We're on a journey. But let's bring the audience involved. So if you could give one advice in terms of the people you hang around with, because obviously some people that are watching, they're probably where we were 5-6 years ago in school. So for me, I'm just thinking, if we can give advice for them to realize now and let them prevent making mistakes, it will help them as well. So it'll help you guys. You guys will benefit. You guys can have a better quality of life, or go to reach your goals earlier than where you want to, just from listening and getting advice from people that have made mistakes. That's how I see the motto in life. Like, I'm fairly young. When I started working and meeting you guys, I think I was the youngest in the team. So for me to be at this stage in my life, it wouldn't have been possible without learning and listening to people that are older than you. Because, you know, if I can listen to you and yourself, Saqib, and the advice you're giving me is things like, oh, you know, when you're older, don't do this or do this, and I can listen to it and prevent that from happening, it's a win-win. It's benefiting me, and you guys, you guys get the blessings and the rewards.
So one of the best advice I'll give to anyone that's watching us in school, college, uni is just take your youth seriously. Don't be too stuck on trying to grow up too early. Just take your time with it. Just enjoy it. Don't, because I remember when I was younger, I just wanted to grow up early. I wanted to start earning money. I want to start a job, this, that. But life comes at you fast, man.
Too fast.
The headaches, the money problems, all of that, it comes at you fast. So just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Like, life through school, college, uni, just enjoy it.
Any advice, Akib?
I was literally about to say something very similar to what Ansa said. Now you're making me think a lot harder on the spot. Just before I do give a little bit of advice, just a little disclaimer. Just a little while earlier, Hobbs said, 5-6 years ago we were in school. Not for me.
15, 20 years ago.
I know everyone's probably looking and
in
thinking,
the comments. No, 5 years ago.
Everyone's probably looking and thinking, right, no, maybe him, maybe no, not this guy, not this guy. I would probably say, as children, don't get so engrossed into devices, into social media. I know that's going to be a separate topic on its own. But if you're a teenager, just think about respecting your parents. I would say parents are very, very key and very important in your life. And if you can make them a role model, that's even better. That's even more amazing. But just remember to always respect your parents. You are who you are because of your parents. And they should mean everything to you because you mean more than anything else to them.
Amazing.
I think that's perfectly said. And just to end it with one piece of advice that I can give, I think for me is be careful who you are friends with. The importance is, and people have been saying these quotes for so long, but I'll just repeat it. You are who you hang around with. And that's actually so true. If you hang around with 6 bums, obviously when you're young, you don't know who is a bum or who are not. But the truth is, if you hang around with 6 people who have no aspirations, they just want to chill or just, waste time, you're going to become them. So my advice is be very, very selfish into who you give your time and energy to and hang around with people that uplift you. So, for example, I'm very grateful in the team that we used to work in. We had a great set of people. And you guys all had good morals. And I feel like that's what helped me. You guys helped mold me and shape me.
But it's a bit difficult when you're growing up, though, isn't it? Because you're surrounded by people that are going to influence you in a bad way, though, aren't you?
And this is it. I'm going to come back to that. And sorry, it's exactly the topic what you were saying, and it links into what you said, Ansa. I think it's really, really important how you pick and choose your friends. That is very, very key because it is them who you eventually becoming very similar to. You learn more from your friends than you do from your own family. In my personal experience, in my own personal views. So and know where to draw the line. Don't get impressed by wrong. Know where to draw the line. Just because they're doing something silly doesn't necessarily mean you need to do that and follow in that footstep. They may be enjoying life, at that age, but you focus, you keep yourself on track, and you'll be able to enjoy the long-term future.
Because the reason why I'm saying all of this is because if you guys actually think about it, just really deep it, right? Look back to your youth and the people that were cool at that time. Right, fast track it now. Now you're into your career, everyone's matured enough, everyone's become older. Now if you think about it, those same people, where are they? You know how we just talked about bullying and looking. People never used to hang around with the smart people, the nerds. Really and truly, if I had to turn back time, I would love to hang around with more of those kind of people because they're the ones that will have benefited a lot in life. And being a nerd, I feel like it's amazing. Like for me now, when I have children, I know where to push them and I know which path to set them straight.
I will say though, look, it's good to be book smart, but you should also try and be street wise as well. Because learning the books and stuff, it's gonna get you far, but it's not gonna get you as far if you're book smart and you're street wise as well.
100%, understand. And I think it's just it's good to try working out a good balance. I mean, myself, for example, I spent quite a lot of time being street smart. It's a lot later where I realized
you don't look like it. Okay.
I know, because I made drastic changes. By the way, guys, if anyone's thinking why I'm wearing a shirt, it's because it's after 5. Okay, I literally finished work and here I am, literally. So
Priorities, man. I went home, showered, got changed, and I came in.
I work harder.
Priorities. I work from home, so I was in my PJs.
Priorities. I've got a team to manage, right?
So do I, cuz.
All of us do, to be honest.
Yeah, I literally finished work. It's last day of the week, and you know, and in all honesty, this is called the After 5 Club, so it makes sense to represent who we are.
100%.
Next week, I'm going to come in a suit and tie, bruv.
But you don't wear suit and tie
It
to
doesn't
work.
matter. It's after 5.
But that's not what you wear to
I
work.
don't care. It's after 5.
It doesn't make sense.
It's the after 5 club.
I'm gonna come in a Sharwani.
You do that, mate.
Yeah, good one.
If there's a size, if they find my size.
Right, boys, let me ask you another question, yeah?
Yep.
So when you were growing up, at what point did you feel like, okay, I'm in manhood now. I'm a man now? At what point?
I was about to say something, but I'm not gonna. Right, but anyway.
Because I'll give you an example.
Go on.
You remember your first trim?
How are you gonna violate my first stream like that, bro?
Do you remember your first trim?
Is it this one?
I'm not talking about that one. I'm just saying, like, just general, your first trim. If you want to talk about that, we can talk.
No,
we
no,
can
no,
talk
let's not
about that as well.
talk about that. Cut.
Because I remember
Yes.
when I was younger, I'd always go to get a trim with my dad. Yeah, my dad would always get me like a free all around or fall around or whatever, innit? And the first time I had the bravery to actually be like, Dad, I'm getting my trim myself today, innit?
Skin fade.
And he gave me the money and be like, alright, fine, go. So I went to the barbers now, yeah, and I'm waiting in the queue. And there's, you know, in the barbers, there's always that one freshy uncle, yeah, that no one wants to go to. He's just there to pick up his money, yeah. And the good barber, he's working on someone, innit? Yeah. And now you're praying that uncle doesn't become free when it's your turn, innit? So now it's your turn, now uncle's free now, and he's looking at you like, your turn, and you're just looking away. You're just looking away.
The worst one is when you actually go up to it and you know you're getting a dead trim.
And he's like cutting into your hair, and you just know, like, you're just contemplating life, and this is what manhood is.
100%. So yeah, no. For me, for example, I just remember the first time I forcefully shaved. I had one of those like little fake mustache.
Were you one of them just shaved, constantly kept shaving?
No.
just
It was one of those ones where basically my dad was totally against me shaving and whatnot. He wanted basically something called one of those. It's called a suchidari. You heard of that, right? You know that, right? So basically, for those people who don't know, it's one of those ones where basically you grow a natural beard without using the blade and letting the shape of the beard come out completely naturally, from what I understand.
But it grows a bit curly and stuff, isn't it?
It does. But to be fair, my hair never grew that long before I shaved, so I don't know how curly it would have been. But I just wanted to be feeling like a young man. I was probably about 13 years old, and I wasn't really hairy as a kid. No, I really wasn't. And literally, the only sort of hair that I had was just over my lips. And I just remember forcefully shaving, came down, and I realised, God, I look proper funny now. Sitting in the dining table, and I'm keeping my mouth covered, so I was a bit like this. And my sister said, "Hey, Saqib, why do you keep covering your mouth?" And I'm like, my dad didn't focus at that point. And then she said it louder, "Hey, Saqib, why do you keep did you shave? Did you shave?" And I was like,
bottles of bleach, please.
oh my days, mate, my dad, he was fuming. I was so embarrassed. I just kept my head down, and my mom said to me as well, "Huh? Have you shaved?" Well, I was like, stop it. It was so embarrassing, but that was me trying to be a man too soon. But yeah.
Do you remember your first trim?
I remember, bro, my childhood was the worst with trims because I used to always hate it.
Did you ever try it yourself?
No, I'm too scared.
No.
So what happened was every single time I went to a barber, right? And you know how they put the mirror behind your head and then they show you?
You don't have no option. But
You have no option to say, you just nod. Bro, do you know what would happen? You won't even believe me. You know, with me, right?
What are you supposed to say? Nah, bruv, I don't like it.
Bro, I was the worst because for me, They'll get the trim, and while he's doing, I'm looking there and I'm shocked. But then I'm just so shy to say that it's dead. So I'm like saying it's good. I'll even give an extra pound tip, right? I give an extra pound tip. And then as I go home, I'm contemplating, I'm deep in life. And I go to the bathroom to look at it. I don't even, tears just start rolling down while I'm there looking at my trim. I'm like, oh man. And that used to be a repeat. But thankfully now, you know, my other best friend, he's a barber. So he just comes to my house, gives me trims. So he's been cutting my hair for the last 7-8 years now. So I haven't even gone to a barber
Quick
shop.
question. How much you pay for your trim?
It depends on, yeah, but he's trying to, trims are nowadays costably, can be up to 50 quid, if not more.
50 quid.
50 quid.
Again, you're
Whole
paying,
pinky, bro.
you're paying for a service. And look, life, we've leveled up now. So 50 quid, what is
Fair
it?
enough,
I'm
fair
joking. It hurts my bank account
That's
when
what I
I
was
cry every
thinking.
time after. It's a lot, I'll be honest. But again, I don't cry about trim. I feel more confident. For me, I'm not paying for a trim. I'm paying to gain confidence, to be good about myself.
I'm just trying to understand, Hobbs. What do you get for 50 quid?
Full service, whatever you want.
sorry.
Oh, eyebrows, nose, all of that.
I can't reveal too much. Now everyone's going to zoom in and check my face. No, he does a lot of things.
It does
Have
a
you
lot of things.
ever done threading?
I haven't actually.
Have you ever seen someone do
I've
threading?
seen it, but just the head just bobs in and out. It's funny.
I saw my barber do that first time, yeah. And I'm looking at him through the mirror,
Yeah.
and he's doing this, and he's looking at me, innit? I don't know what are you doing, bro.
That's mad.
Alright, guys. So moving on. Do you remember your first ever job? So now we've moved on to, you know, from childhood, we've gone into manhood, we've gone through that transition. Do you remember your first ever job?
God, no. I was dreading this question. I was hoping it doesn't come up in podcast.
Don't worry, we're all going to reveal it, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working at McDonald's, as most people do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's-
Yeah, no.
I would love to work there now for the free
100%.
meal.
It's 100%.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love a fillet of fish right now
McPlant,
with a double pay.
come on.
Mate, I don't know if you guys remember. This is back in my time, by the way. So I'm talking like around 2005, 2006. My first job, working in McDonald's on my local high street. Pretty much everyone walking in, I'm always going to bump into someone that I know from school, which is super, super embarrassing. And, you know, the worst thing is where my manager always put me, on the shop front.
Is it on the tills?
Yeah. No, on the shop front, cleaning up the tables.
Handing out balloons.
Mate, legit, cleaning up tables. I used to say to him, mate, can I just work in the kitchen? He goes, no.
So you're a real life clown. You're a real life Ronald McDonald, bruv.
100%. No. You know, mate, these are little tricks what the managers used to do. Guys, once again, I'm not saying this about myself,
so
right?
you're trying to say you're a good looking guy, bruv? Is that what you're trying to say?
Listen. Don't judge now, right? But honestly, mate, I would say these managers are very smart. First of all, if you go to most McDonald's, they're usually going to put women on the tills. Very sexist. I totally disagree. Right, but anyway, they're mainly going to put women on the tills, right? And they're usually going to put good-looking people on the shop floor.
So you're one of them, yeah?
Right. I wouldn't have thought so, but maybe according to my manager.
It makes
yeah.
sense now. Why they never let me work on the shop front?
Yeah, you've
It
always
makes
been in the
sense.
kitchen,
I've always
right?
Why am I insulting myself? It's like
I don't know, man. You've done that since we've met. You know that.
I don't know. I get pleasure.
Hobbs, what about you?
What, my first job? For me, my first job, I remember I messed up my second year college. I remember I messed up and I had to take a gap year. So on that gap year, I found a job which was Amazon warehouse, and it was difficult. At the age of 17, I think I just turned 18.
It's
Sorry,
long
At
hours
the-
as well, innit?
long. I used to do night shift, so I used to do 7 p.m. and I used to finish at 8 a.m. So that was long, 4 days on, 3 days off. But it was good money at my age. I couldn't complain, and I just want to say that's where you learn. I would say without your first job, we wouldn't be in the position you are. That's where you're learning. You see different people, you communicate differently. You know how you learn about different people's lifestyles. Because again, in Tower Hamlets, in my school, it was predominantly Asians. So we only knew how to speak in a certain way or the slang way. But when I started working in the warehouse, there were so many different people from so many different cultures. So for me, it was like, you need, and that's my advice to the audience as well. Don't feel like, you know how Sakib was saying, oh, he was a bit shameful about saying he used to work at McDonald's. Be honored to say you worked at McDonald's, because that's where you're going to learn most of your things. Let's be honest, most of the things that we learned in those little jobs that we did to build us in our career, it helped us so much in progressing, especially in management.
100%, mate. You got to start off somewhere. I'm not ashamed of anything. In fact, everything that was tough, everything that was embarrassing has made me stronger as a person, has made me a little bit more, I would say it's added to my experience. It's made me the person that I am today. I have carried each experience with me, and I've always just built on it.
It's part of the journey, isn't it?
It's 100% part of the journey. And for me, if I didn't work in McDonald's, it wouldn't have made me the person who I was in my second job. That second job combined made me the person ready for my third job. Now at the level that I'm at, I feel as though I wouldn't have picked any other route. In all honesty,
100%. And I think this goes back onto the topic of especially for the viewers, do not rush the process. With social media, you see so many things. Oh, get rich overnight, get rich quickly. Unfortunately, money that comes quickly is going to go even quicker. So it's all about grafting, working hard, having a plan, working towards that plan, hitting each small milestone and celebrating each milestone. And I think that's the biggest advice I can give, because when I was young, in my head, it used to be, what can I do to quickly make money? How can I flip money? Let me buy this car. Let me sell this car. Let me do all of this. At the end of the day, you can make £1,000 here, but it's not constant. So it's all about having that constant continuity
100%.
and taking it from there.
I was going to say as well, because working in retail, it builds you a lot. It builds your character so much. Because I used to work in Car Farm was my first ever job. Yeah.
Man, I used to envy the people who used to work in
Car Farm was so fun, man.
I can imagine.
Was so fun.
I can
But
imagine.
I know a lot of people that used to work in Car Farm that used to work in Fonts for You, if you remember.
Yes.
And they were just killing it in terms of how much money they were making. Bro,
Really?
they were making like 20% commission off every
No
sale.
way.
20%
Wow.
commission.
Wow.
When I was in Car Farm, we only made like 2%, 3% commission.
Mate, imagine getting 20% for selling fillet of fish. I'd love that. Honestly, I'm only joking.
But working in retail, like I said, it builds your character, man. I advise anyone at home, if you're still young, work in retail.
100%.
You meet so many characters, you meet so many people, and it's that busy sort of lifestyle, sort of work environment that just builds your character.
100%. And that's something that I feel that I've never been able to experience. For some odd reason, I've never worked in retail. I started from McDonald's, went straight into working as like in admin basically, and then from there onto something else.
That must have been a crazy jump though.
Yeah.
Working from McDonald's straight into admin.
100%. But it's about who you know, right?
It's about who you know.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It's true. So what was your first 9 to 5 job then? So I know Sakib, you said admin, right? Or was that your first 9 to 5?
It was I would say yes. It was admin, but it was part time because I was still studying. But 9 to 5. Eventually, it did become a full time, and then after I qualified as whatever, then I went on to something else and just moved on. But I would say admin. Admin was very much enjoyable for me.
Was it?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Crazy. Yeah. I loved it. And I think once again it comes down to where you work, who you work with, and whatnot. So
Because when I jumped from retail to 9 to 5, obviously the characters are different. Like the people that you meet are different. People are more mature. People are more sort of in their later life. Whereas in retail, you mainly come across young people, innit?
Yeah.
it's like being in college, right?
Basically, like being in
Literally.
college. But I would say the place that we worked in, we made it into a college.
100%.
We made it into a college.
Where we worked, we had people from all age groups. I mean, sorry guys, just to bring you guys up to speed. I'm sure you guys can probably tell just by looking at us. Hobbs is the oldest, and I'm definitely the youngest. No, I'm only joking. It's
I'm the
completely other way around. But basically, just so you guys are aware, there is a little bit of an age gap, I would say, between me and and Ansa, and then there's a further age gap between myself and Hob. So you guys can do the maths there.
By the way, when he was in primary school, I probably wasn't born. So let's just leave it at that.
Is it?
When did you?
Yeah, I mean, I was 4 years old when I was in primary school, when I was in year 1. So yeah, I can understand that. You were 4 years younger than me. Yeah.
Saved it.
I'm only joking. Okay, right, guys. Just to put you guys out of your misery. Hobbs, how old are you?
So I've just turned 24. So yeah, so I feel like I'm ready to retire. Financially, maybe not, but we'll talk about it later on. But yeah, I'm 24, just turned 24, and yep. What about yourself, Ansar?
27.
Not far.
Yeah.
It's okay. What about you? 40.
Undisclosed.
I'm 44. Yeah.
44.
Yeah. No, I'm only joking. 34. All right. So yeah, I'm 34. So of course, between me and Hobbs, 10 years gap. Between me and Ansar, there's what? 4,
7.
7
years gap.
It's a 7 years gap between me and you.
That's
really?
not that bad, to be honest.
Bro, I didn't know you're 34, man.
Yeah, you don't seem it.
Yeah.
Legit, I swear to God, I didn't know you're
Really?
34. I swear, I thought you still like 31.
No way.
I was saying late 20. I thought 27. You're like similar, yeah.
Yeah. No.
Don't gas him so much, bro. Chill out, bro.
Yeah. No. I'm 34. But to be fair, but I turned 34 recently, so I mean, not too long ago.
I'm gonna turn 28.
You're gonna turn 28.
Yeah.
So it's more like 6.5, right?
If you want to take that, take
Yeah,
it.
6.5. Man. 6.5. I'll take that.
All right, guys.
Right.
Important question now. I want you to think about this.
Okay.
Are we stuck in a rat race? And before you answer that question, in your words, what do you think the rat race is?
Hobbs, do you want to go first?
Yes. So I think right now, general 9-to-5ers, we are stuck in a rat race. And what I feel, what is a rat race is basically you're being confined to the daily life of just working. So let's be honest, as a 9-to-5, and I'm sure a lot of people, if not all of our people that are working a 9-to-5 can relate. You wake up, you have your shower, you get ready, you go to work, you do a hard days of graft, you come home, and your day's over, and it's a repeat. It's a cycle. Next thing you know, it's been 20 years, you're ready to retire, and that's all your life. You're stuck in that rat race, and it's hard to get out. I feel like the one thing that I have to say, being in a 9-to-5, it makes you comfortable. You get comfortable, you get complacent, and that's why this is part of the reason why I'm so excited and passionate about this podcast, because we're at a stage right now where, alhamdulillah, we have got other ventures, we've got things that we're doing with, and we can give this advice onto those people, because being stuck in that rat race, when you have children, when you go through later stages in life, you're just going to have regrets. And if you can prevent this early on, it would help you out.
For me, the way I see the rat race now, if you imagine going through the tube on a busy day, or during the busy rush hour period, you see everyone just rushing to work, getting into the tube, looking down, looking miserable. It's packed out tube as well. It's you kind of think of them as rats, just like getting into their work and then coming out of work. And to me, that's what a rat race is. That's what I picture in my head when I think of a rat race. Everyone's just to themselves, going through their daily routine, and that's it. That's their life. So, my question to you guys is: are we stuck in one? Currently, if you actually analyze your own life right now, do you think we're stuck in a rat race?
So, I would say yes. And the reason for that is, I would say it depends on the choices you make. That's where you become trapped in this rat race. So, for example, both your definition of rat race, absolutely on point. How you get trapped in it, I would say taking on the certain responsibilities, certain roles. We live in a world where there's cost of living crisis. We want security. First thing, especially us being brown boys, we think about properties. We think about investments. The minute you get yourself a mortgage, you're trapped in that rat race. You're not ready to take any more risk. You're not ready to be able to quit your 9-to-5 and actually invest everything all into whether it's a business or whether it's a service or whatever. So basically, we are literally trapped. We become trapped in this rat race. I would say Bengalis are very different. On the other hand, they are very smart and they crack on with business. They try not to get. They're good in the sense where they don't throw themselves into a rat race. And that partly does come with being united.
I think it's not just because of that. I think it's because if Bengalis we do cash in hand, then you can claim benefits at the same time. So there's a reason for everything. But you know what? It's a very good point what you just said, because for me, how I see it is you're mentioning about risk. The reason, and this is the big part that I want to say, is because I'm fairly young, right? So for me, taking on your advice, you're saying you're giving me advice on what to do and things before it's too late. Because if you think about it, there's people who say, for example, you're in a 9-to-5, now you've got a couple children. You've got children, you've got a family to look after. Really and truly, you cannot take that risk of leaving your 9-to-5, leaving your bread and butter and going and risking doing something else, because you've got a family to look after and to feed.
And this is it. So I would say you get trapped into this rat race from, first of all, now, please don't judge over here, guys, but what I would say is getting married before you're established, right? Not being able to make those independent decisions, right? If you haven't made those independent decisions and you've gotten married, then just be ready to get yourself stuck in that rat race, because once you're married, you're going to be making joint decisions, and most of that is going to come down to you need to get a roof over your head. You need a separate roof over your head. You need to become trapped in that rat race. So I think it's that. It's also mortgage. It's also being competitive, right? So, like, for example, it's that circle. Once you're in that rat race, the main people who you're competing with, the main people who you're seeing are people like yourself, right? So you're not really coming out of that bubble. You're not really engaging much with other people. And when you do, you're just not willing to take that risk.
I would actually argue, as soon as you come out of your education, you're stuck in a rat race. Because even though, look, we obviously encourage people to go through education, get their degrees and all that stuff, but as soon as you come out of there and you're looking for your first job, you're instantly trapped into that rat race. And you have no choice, because it's what you're taught, it's what you're told to do. And the thing is, because I was actually deep in this on my way home from work, and I was thinking about this, and I thought, you know what, is this what my life is confined to now? Like, I'm going to work, like you said, Hobbs, I'm just waking up, going into work, coming home, spending a little bit of time with family. All I get is a couple of hours with my family, and I'm asleep, and then the next day repeat. Is this what my life is? Well, you only live one life. Is this what we're confined to? And I guess that's tying into what my next question is, that how do we escape the rat race? How do you break free from it?
I think for me, what we need to get out is we need to get the mindset of just working a 9-to-5 is good for your life. For me, I feel like sacrifices have to be made. As the more sacrifices you make, the more fruitful the rewards will be. And I think it's evident. It's clear fact. If you make sacrifices and you put in that time and effort into whatever you do, you will get rewarded. Whether it's now or whether it's later, you have to be patient.
If you want to start a business and break free and just do something different from a 9-to-5, is it too late? For example, if you're in your, let's say, 40s and you're married and you got kids, is it too late to make a risk and go for a business, or do you think it's just not worth it? You're just too late.
I'm gonna so I'll start on this one. I think the longer you leave it, it becomes a lot more harder. And the reason why I say that is because in most situations you would have worked your way up. In 10 years into your career, you would have worked really, really hard, and you would have worked up to a certain level. Now, for example, I'm just giving a very, very simple example. If, for example, what is average income? What is it?
27, 28-ish?
Yeah, in London it's like
London?
30,
Or
35.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. After 10 years, somehow you're getting 40,000. I'm just saying for argument's sake. Now, in order for you to escape that rat race, automatically in the back of your head, you're thinking to yourself, I want to do a business. I want to do a business where it's going to be worth my 40,000. I want to be making minimum 40,000. So now you've already set yourself a high expectation. Whereas if you started right from the bottom, before you even achieved that 40,000, you would have been prepared to have a business on a lower level and build up on that business. So you've already set your expectations too high. It's far too risky for you to quit that £40,000 job into something that's going to initially give you maybe 20,000 or maybe even less.
I just want to give you a different point of view, a different side angle, and it's literally what I'm going through at the moment. So you were just saying, okay, to break away from the rat race, you know, you potentially have to leave your job to do. But for me right now, like in my, you know how what I'm currently doing, I will explain in later podcasts and stuff. But I'm still pursuing my ventures, but I still got my 9 to 5. So I'm doing it outside of hours. You see, sometimes I'm awake, I'm working till 4 a.m., 5 a.m., then having to sleep and wake up again 7 o'clock for work. So while you're young, it's not about, oh, let me leave my 9 to 5 and focus on a venture. Why not do both? Don't put your eggs in one basket. My personal advice would be, when you're young and you've got that energy, stick to your 9 to 5. So you know, okay, I've got constant income coming in, I'm good in that way. And whatever you do it after your 9 to 5. Put in that time and put in that effort. Whether it's a business, I'm sure you can work around it. You don't have to leave your job or leave your income. All it means is you have to just put more time and effort after hours.
This is the point. If you want something bad enough, you will do anything it takes, whatever it takes to get it done. Look, it doesn't matter if you're young, if you're old. It doesn't matter. The fact is, life will come at you with different challenges regardless of what age you are. So even if you start to do a business when you're young, or if you're 50s, 60s, and you want to do business, you're going to get their own self challenges, right? Right. So the point is, just do it. If you got the drive enough, if you got the want to do it, just do it. There's nothing stopping you.
100%. And that's what I would advise. While you're young, if you don't let your dreams drag on. You know, just if you've got a thought, you've got an idea, right now's the time. Take the risk. You know, whatever risk it is, even if it's a small amount, if it's a large amount, don't worry about it. You're still young. You can make up the risk, right? But at least you can't look back at your life and think, you know what? I wish I'd done that. I wish I had done that. And don't just focus on properties. Don't just focus on these things. They are long-term investments, right? If you've got a good foundation, you've got yourself a very good business, you'll get plenty of properties after that.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with trying to live a normal 9 to 5 job.
Oh, 100%.
If you're
100%.
content with it, and if you're happy with it, good on you.
I wish I could just live a 9 to 5 right now. I just want to.
And it's amazing, actually, because I've listened to a few other podcasts. I don't normally listen to podcasts, to be fair, right? But anyway, I've listened to a couple of other podcasts, and in there, there's lots of business people in there, right? And they're doing this podcast, and they're actually opposing the idea of doing business. There's I can't remember his name, right? But basically, what he said was that actually, I would love to be able to quit my business. If I was getting 50,000 a year, I would quit my business, and I would just rather work for someone else because it's just not worth the aggro. So it's you know, it's one of those things. What you don't have, you always want. I think it's still good to be ambitious. It's still good and worth trying something on the side. I don't think you should. You got. There's something really, really interesting. What one person made a suggestion on. It's a very common saying, and that is, the world is your oyster. Don't confine yourself to just traveling to and from work and just focusing on just work. There's a lot out there. And it's just about being a little bit open-minded and just throwing yourself in the deep end.
And I think one thing that a lot of people get confused is what is your intention of trying to get out of the rat race? And people think, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire, I want to make a lot of money. Money comes and goes. Yes, you can say that if you have money and whatnot, obviously everyone would want a lot of money, but whatever ventures you want to do or whatever things you want to do aside from your 9 to 5, your intention should be happiness. You're doing it for happiness, and it's through passion. Because if you get money involved and your intention is, I just want to make as much money as I can, you'll become miserable.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I've got an interesting one, right?
What was that? Miserable.
My lisp just... I couldn't hold it in. Oh man, I'll try my best to be on point. Listen, that's offensive to all people that have lisps. But I'm sorry.
Sorry, Sakib.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay, right.
Bleep that out, please.
Okay, right, guys. I've got an interesting one, and that is, what sort of income would you say is enough in today's way of life, in today's cost of living? What sort of income would you say you would want, like a passive income where you don't have to work for in order for you to quit your job?
So I remember having this conversation with my economics teacher back in college, and he always argued the fact that you need a minimum of $2,000 a month coming in as income to live a decent life, like a decent, whereas you're not really comfortable, but you're getting by.
And that was in what year?
This was in 2015.
So it should be about 3K now. 3K?
So now I'll probably say you look double that now. You're double that.
3K, yeah.
Double that, yeah. So I think, look, in terms of passive income, I think you always have to find a way to make passive income. You can't rely on your 9 to 5. I think that you have to think outside the box and start businesses, try and get that residuals, try and do whatever you can to get that, build up your cash flow. It's so important now. It's really important now.
I think what people don't realize is how to manage money, because the truth is, say, if you can't manage the salary you're currently on, when you do have a business and you're earning 10 times that, or your revenue is 100,000, 200,000, if you can't manage your salary and you can't manage your lifestyle, you won't be able to manage the business's money. So always realize that. Don't think to yourself, because this is what I thought. I thought, yes, when I get 100K, 200K, whatever it is, I can manage my money. But at that time, I was struggling to manage my own income, trying to realize, okay, what can I spend on? What shouldn't I spend on? So I learned that the hard way, because if I learned that before I started my ventures, it would have helped me a lot more now. So that's a very good tip as well that I would give. But again, just enjoy yourself. At the end of the day, life is too short. I literally went to a funeral last week, and it opened my eyes a lot. For me, I just realized, like, I was there and I was like, damn, I'm working like 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a row. And I'm just thinking to myself, if I died the next day, would I be happy? Would I have regrets? And then I just deeped and I couldn't stop crying that whole day. I was just thinking to myself, what is the value of life? Like, I'm doing all of this, I'm pushing my body, but what if I don't survive for the next day? And it was a real big eye opener. And just enjoy yourself. Make sure you treat people right. Be a good human. Treat your family correct. I promise you treat your family right first, all the other things will come naturally. It's all about the people around you, supporting them, and vice versa, them supporting you.
100%. I think the last point we can sort of touch on is, what advice would you give to people listening if they want to sort of make a difference in their life? We talked about rat race. What advice would you give to people that's trying to escape the rat race? I'll go first. I'll say, look, you make a decision early whether you want to live a conventional life or unconventional life. Your conventional life is your rat race, is your normal 9 to 5 routine. An unconventional life is something out of the ordinary. Starting your business, go for these ventures. Because the last thing you want is to be at an old age and be like, I regret this. I regret not starting a business. I regret not going for this opportunity. And that's the last thing you want. Start early whilst you got the opportunity, because this, like you said, Sakib, it's going to get harder as you get older. Make up your mind early. And it's never too late. It's never too late. Even if you are old, it's never too late. But make that decision early. Try and make that first step now. Don't wait for your next sort of 5 years, 10 years. Doesn't matter if you're married, doesn't matter if you've got kids. Try and make it happen. Yeah.
Just adding on to what Ansa said, I would say, whilst you're young, opt out of pensions. No, most employers, they are going to hate me for saying this. But let's be honest, pensions, what £5 or £10 was 10 years ago is not what it's worth now. Same way, whatever you're putting in, fine, fair enough, certain organisations are putting in the same amount on top. But by the time you reach pension age, the pension age is just likely to just go up and whatnot. And before you know it, that money is just trapped until you, if you're even lucky to even reach that age. And then after that, it is a large amount that's just constantly being put down there. Why not just take that money, collect it somewhere? At least you've got open access to it whenever you need it. Invest that money. and invest it in something like a cheap property or something like that, at least that property will go up with investment. Sorry, this is another conversation on its own, but this was just like a little example. So just as an extension from what Ansa said, don't put all your eggs into your 9-to-5 job, right? Be a little bit open-minded, opt out of pensions. There's plenty more opportunities out there.
Work smart, don't work hard.
Oh yeah.
I really like that, but I'll be completely honest. Without working hard, you ain't going to be.
Shut up, bro.
Yeah. No, I have to ruin the moment. Do you know why? It's because look, some people like me, for example, I can't work smart. As in, for me,
we know that. We know that, Hobbs.
I have to work a lot harder and take my time with things, and I have to put that extra effort in just to catch up with some people. But I'm happy to accept that because I'm willing to make sacrifice and work hard. But going on to the point of what advice I can give to people that are wanting to not only just get out of the 9-to-5, but just want to level up their life or find ways of how they can improve the quality of their life, not just by making more money, maybe by making them more happier some way. So what I would advise is, life again is too short. Be true to yourself. There's obviously, you have to be realistic. There's certain things which you can't do, and you just have to accept that. So be true. Obviously it's good to have dreams, but be realistic. Put your words into actions. That's what matters the most. Whether you do 1%, at least you've started it, and get the ball rolling. Keep yourself motivated. Those things, fitness. I know I can't really talk much about fitness, but keep yourself fit.
You're a fit lad, bro.
All right.
Keep yourself fit.
Oh, you got both of us.
Both of us.
That was smooth, bro. My fitness is on point now. I'm joking. But honestly, fitness has helped my life in terms of your mental health. I'm not saying get that 6-pack, but I'm just saying keep yourself active, fit, whether that's going on a walk, going on a treadmill, because trust me, when you have a 9-to-5 and you've got other ventures and you're doing business, you're doing property, you're doing all of these things, your mind can only hold so much. So going to therapy, which is gym, that's how I see it, as your mind is clear. And I'll be honest, most of my light bulb moments was when I'm in the gym or when I'm on the treadmill and I'm just thinking and I'm just trying. That's where I feel at peace. So never underestimate the importance of health, because when you are busy, that's the last thing on your mind. You said, no, I'm going to sacrifice my time and I'm going to do this and this and this, and gym is last. You're like, you know what, gym can come. I don't really care about gym. It only takes do a half an hour gym session. It doesn't take long. Don't give yourself that excuse, and that would help you out.
Amazing, Hobbs. Just before we sign off, Hobbs, just want to remind everyone what they can do for us.
Of course. So guys, look, I'll be completely honest. This is new to us. We're from the East End. It's we were very anxious coming on here, and for us, we would appreciate, we're not forcing it. Give us constructive criticism, things that you don't like, things that you do like, things you want us to talk about, what we're boring you with. We are a sponge right now. We want to absorb everything you guys say. So for us, it's only going to get better or worse if you guys don't tell us. But we would appreciate, liking, subscribing, commenting. For us, we want to build a platform, a community, and just bring you on this journey. For us, especially myself, what I'm excited is I want people 1 year, 2 years later to say thank you, or not even thank you. We've listened to your podcast. We're doing this now. We're doing that now. And if we can just change one person's life, I'm happy. I've got what I needed to get out from this podcast.
Completely agree.
That sounds like a whole lot of bullshit to me, man. I ain't gonna.
I mean it.
I'm not like you dragged it a little bit.
I did drag
it a little bit.
I did. I'm a top waffler. What can I say?
I'm only joking, man. I'm joking.
But I did mean it.
No, I know you did. Look, all jokes aside, Hobbs, amazing person. And I have to say, he has just got an amazing heart where he's always put others first. So hands down, Hobbs. All jokes aside, sorry to just embarrass you there.
No. I'm not gonna hit this
Go on,
one.
give each other a hug now.
No.
Hey, Mike, bro.
I just don't want to get hit.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an amazing episode, and we hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you on the next episode.
Peace out. Thank you so much, guys.
Take care.